Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. The time is now to learn Logic Pro. We are back at it again, covering the Logic user guide and tutorial. If you're ready to learn this program, learn it well, be the best that you could be, go ahead and stay tuned. How's it going? Eddie Gray back in it again. This is Resources for the Modern Creative, and it's brought to you by hfmusicacademy.com. You know that we are so ready to get back into it. Why? Because we're committed, because this is what we want to do. It's our life, it's our lifetime, and we get to choose how we want to spend it. And so for my money, I'm going to put my entire being into it. 2 feet in, fully committed. We're going to get everything that we need to get. Let's extract as much information as we can get. I wanted to thank you very much for tuning in and for everybody that's been supporting this. It's been such an honor to be here, to take part in this, and to be able to collaborate and co-create this with you. So let's get ready for this transmission that we are about to undertake. And let's go. So the very first thing we're going to do is just get right into the manual. There's plenty to cover. And so it's Friday. Make sure you have your notepad, your phone ready. We're going to take some notes, really get this down top to bottom. I have a song ready that actually we've been building throughout our series together. And I'm just really excited. I'm really excited. So I want you to get pumped up, get a glass of water, make sure that you're well fed. And let's go. All right, delay region playback in the Logic Pro tracks area. So we have the ability to influence the playback of MIDI regions. Let's see how we do this. You can shift the playback position of regions on a track using the delay parameter. Positive values shift regions ahead, while negative values shift regions back in time. So if it's ahead or forward, it's going to feel a little bit more laid back. Let's think reggae, right? Dub, not dubstep, but dub. While negative values feel a little bit more punk rock, ahead of the beat. You know, think Muse or Foo Fighters, something just really aggressive, or something old school like No Effects, or something where people are really driving ahead of the beat. The delay value is shown in both ticks and milliseconds. So how do we do this? Well, we go inside the region inspector. We can see that here, and we want to go ahead and drop down into the disclosure triangle, which is here. And here you'll see a value that will move your regions left or right. Now, this is not going to be visual. I just want to be clear about this. This is not something we're going to see, but rather this is something that we're going to hear. All right, let's go through the rest of this, and then we will actually go through the exercise. The delay parameter in the region inspector is mainly intended for a creative musical purpose. So check this out, guys. This is not necessarily to rectify quantization issues or timing issues. This is literally to rhythmically offset regions for the purpose of feel, groove. It can also be used to fix timing problems in cases such as the following. So now you have the creative reason and then the pragmatic or engineer-like reason here. So let's say the attack phase of a software instrument just happens to be a little long. It takes a long time to get to the actual first transient. And I hope you know what I mean by that, the first initial hit. All right. Then we can actually compensate for this by using delay. Now, of course, if this is audio, a good musician will automatically compensate for this by playing the note slightly earlier. But with very slow sounds or software instruments, or you think of, I don't know, what takes a long time to play an accordion or something, you may need a pre-delay of over 100 milliseconds to even them out. All right? The sound generator is reacting too slowly to the incoming note on messages. Older multi-temporal sound generators often take tens of milliseconds. And then finally, the delay in output is not constant, as it is dependent on the order of notes arriving at the external MIDI. So regardless for the reason you're using this, it's a great technique to either creatively output something new, have a different feel, and then of course, if you need to fix any timing issues. So let's check that out. Oh, let's see. I have, I should really pull up something new here. So let me just pull up in the region inspector. For audio, it's here, right below the more disclosure triangle. And for MIDI, again, you open up that disclosure triangle right there. And then here it is right here. Again, we're not visually going to see anything new. It's going to look exactly the same, but it will sound different. For now, just so I can kind of stay with the game here, I'm going to have this push or pull. And for those of you that really understand drummer very well, if I go ahead and select good old Kyle, our bona fide rock drummer, and we go into the details tab here, you know what I'm talking about. We can either push and change the feel, and if we look at the transients, go ahead and look at the yellow drummer region. Look what happens. They're literally moving. Let me go ahead and zoom in tighter. See how they just moved right there? I'll do it one more time. This is not an optical illusion. Here, check it out. See that? All right. So in the same vein, my good friends, we want to perform that action, except this time we're not going to see it move, as odd as that might sound, but we're just going to have this play ahead of the beat. So we want the 808 to not necessarily be lazy, but be ahead of the beat. So in order to do that, I'm going to change the delay here. And by the way, if you're wondering how I create these numerical values, inside of the preferences, under display, under show default values, this is where I change this. So if I disable this, I want you to see what happens, okay? See, I don't see anything in the region inspector. There's no information. I'm very visual myself. So when I go ahead and enable that, now I have a better sense of what's going on here. All right, so go into delay. And again, I want this ahead of the beat. So let me move this way, and I believe this is gonna allow this to push a little bit. Let's see if I'm right. And in order to corroborate, we hit K, turn on the metronome. All right, let's listen for that click and listen for the bass. Yeah. So it's almost like, and I might visually draw this out first. Here, let me just go to annotate. This will help some of you. So the click, is right down the middle. I mean, literally, it's just playing right there. But because I've delayed the offset of the bass, it's actually starting right here before the actual part. So the drums and everything else is coming in after, and the bass is pushing ahead. Now, why is this relevant? Again, if you're playing something like rock music, something aggressive like dubstep, metal, it's nice to have some elements driving the song a little bit harder. If everything's completely on time, we lose that human factor, right? That human value. And so let me go ahead and clear all this. This time, I believe you will hear this a lot better if I change the overall offset so that it drags. So it's going to be a little lazy this time, okay? Let me go ahead and see if I can get this to work. And I'll go back a little bit. Metronome is on. Take a listen. Okay, so now that I've done that with just the click track, I want you to listen to it in context. I'm going to go ahead, double click, change the numerical value back to 0 here in the delay inside of the region inspector for my software instrument. Now we'll hit S, get everything working again. And let's listen to this feature here. And just to give you some context, I'll move the playhead to bar 4. I'll press play, let you hear it once, then we'll do a push, and then we'll do a pull on the bass. Here we go. And actually, just one more thing. Just want to be courteous here to all the listeners. Eddie Gray reading the user guide and tutorial. We are in chapter 8. We've made so much progress. And if you have been following, I know you have made so much progress. So here we go. Okay. So if we take the delay, bring that down. Let's go with 50, negative 50. All right, so then now it's like we moved this to the left over here somewhere, but again, it's still visually in the same place. So it's convenient to be able to quantize and nudge regions and nudge values. Here we go. Okay, now I'm not necessarily saying that this is a solution for this song. I'm just giving you some options. All right, let's go ahead and have more of a drag where this is kind of taking its time to play, so it sounds a little bit laid back, dare I say, calm, lazy, relaxed. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reset that value one more time. And then this time I'll change the offset, the delay offset of track number 6. So here we just have some basic percussion stuff. Check it out. Okay, and to not get anything too confused with the rest of the track, what I'm going to do is mute the kick track. So it actually sounds like this. Okay, so with these drums and these playing, and let's go ahead and color them red. Let's try this out. This is just regular, okay? You can hear, obviously, that went way too far off the rails, but what if I just moved it over a little, just for vibes' sake? Let's see. All right, to get a better idea of what I'm talking about, this time I'm just going to solo the drums. You ready? That has a really interesting feel, as opposed to this monotonous, robotic, down the middle, split down the middle every time. Check it out. I'm not saying to never do it that way. I'm just saying if you have a song that calls for it and needs a little bit of variety, give this a spin. This is only 12 ticks off. It's not very significant, but it goes a long way. Okay, so that is pulling a little bit. Now let's go ahead and get something to push. Let me go negative 15. Let's see what this feels like. That's an entirely different world. Now, if you weren't able to catch the subtleties of that, write this down. When we're done, take a couple of minutes, draw up a couple of scenarios, a couple of simulations, a drum beat that's fixated, and then some type of percussive pattern with the top end, and then go ahead and play with the delay offset. Number 2, have some kind of song situated, ready to go here, and then push and pull between the melodic elements. So fairy phrases in this case is my overall melodic element, and so I'll go ahead and change the offset here. Let's go to 32 ticks and see what this sounds like. Like that might be a little too far off, but to be honest, something like plus 12 might work quite well. Let's see. So that actually sounds pretty decent. I might bring it in closer to 8, but you understand what I'm trying to say. So we've got one example with just drums, another example with the lead instrument, and then go ahead and change your bass element, whether it be an 808 or not. Just go ahead and move it forward, move it back, change up the feel. You can also do the same exercise by moving the entire rhythm section forward or back. And I think that will open your eyes and give you that aha moment that we're looking for. All right, it's time to move on. So we understand this clearly. Roger that. We're moving to looping regions in Logix Pro tracks area, which we've gone over extensively, so I will not cover this again. I will quickly peruse this to make sure we don't miss anything. You had silence selecting in region. The silence is included in each repetition. Okay, so just really quick, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. If, let's see, in the MIDI region, let me convert this to MIDI. Okay, so if I included some silence here in the middle, if I loop a MIDI region, key command is L, you'll notice that the silence is included. So I just want to be clear about that. Another way to loop a region is to hover the mouse. Usually it's at the top of the region. I have my setup a little bit different, but I want to show you what the tool looks like when you do happen to select it. It looks like that. That is the loop tool. And then as soon as I drag to the right, you'll notice that because of my snap to grid mode, that we are making changes according to that value. Awesome. All right. Again, I'm just going over this really we did all that. When track automation curves are visible in the tracks area, in some cases, the loop pointer may not be shown when you place the pointer over the region. In this case, you can press and hold the Option key while placing the pointer over the upper right. Okay, so this is actually interesting. Let's see if this rings true. So I think what they said is, hold on. When track automation curves are visible in the tracks area, why would automation curves be visible in the tracks area, not on the automation window? The loop pointer may not be shown. So in that case, hold the Option key. Okay, well, I'll try that from here. I don't think that, oh wait, oh, there it goes. Wow, cool. All right, guys, you got me. I need to make a sound when the user guide gets me. But for now, you're a champion. Do not forget it. You're a champion. Thank you for being here, Eddie. Great reading the user guide and tutorial. I'm so lit to be here on a Friday doing the very best thing in the world, which is taking part in this amazing program and giving you guys the realest information on YouTube today. So this is great. I didn't even know that you can access the loop tool in this fashion, and it's fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that. I wonder if you can access a fade. That would be fascinating, right? Normally you would have to hit Control Shift, but I'm not seeing any of those changes here. But it looks like you can also resize a region, so that's pretty cool. I always would go back and forth. I didn't realize that you could hover and create a selection. Now, by the way, it's an interesting grab. Just for the record, you got to find that sweet spot. All right, you drag the right edge of the region until it aligns. Fantastic. When the track automation curves are visible in the tracks, in some cases, the loop pointer may not be shown. Wait, is that? Oh, that's what I meant to highlight. Awesome. All right. This null and void. It's okay. Doesn't matter. All right. Looping a region continuously. We hit L, or we can go into the region inspector. I've showed you this on a couple of occasions, so the show must go on. Deselecting loop parameters resets the manually created loop length. The next time the loop parameter is used, the region is repeated until it is either encountered another region in the track or reach. Okay, so basically what they're saying is here, hey, if you happen to hit, what am I looking for right over here? Yeah, if you happen to hit L and there's space in between the various regions, in this case a pattern region, if I hit L, conversely go into the region inspector and hit the loop button there, you'll notice that it goes all the way up to this next region. If I delete this, you'll notice that it goes on forever more. So I'm going to go ahead and hit L again so we don't do that. Command Z all this just to get back to basics. Okay. Let's see. You can also go to edit, convert loops to aliases. That's another way of doing this. Let me deselect that. Software instrument loops repeats are converted into aliases. So there's another, if you don't want loops and you want to convert them into aliases, audio loops repeats are converted into cloned audio regions As such, any alterations to the length of the original affects all the aliases. I was testing this out last time, but it didn't work the way I thought it would. We're going to try this out one more time. So let us pretend that I go to bar 53. Here I hit L. This is all in key focus. We go to edit. Where was I forgot the menu. What was it? Edit, clone. I got to go back for that one. Hold on. Up here somewhere, select the edit, convert loops to aliases. Okay, so here, edit, where's convert? Yeah, I rarely use this main menu. Much prefer the key commands. MIDI loops to aliases. Cool, let's try this out. Okay, so then now theoretically these are all just referring to this track. So if I create a fade here, this is what was happening last time. So again, based on my research, oh wait, did I do the right one? Let me just do this one more time to be sure. Okay, here, edit. So this one on bar 25, hold me accountable. We go to convert to aliases. All right, and then again, I make a change on this region and I don't see anything here. So you guys know what that means. We got the manual. Unless there's something that I missed, maybe it doesn't apply to audio, but it seems oh, wait a minute. Okay, one more time. Hold on. I may have caught something. L, go back to edit, go back to convert. Since this is not MIDI, why does it give us the option? You see, this right here doesn't make any sense, right? This should be dimmed out. And so that shouldn't look that way. This should say audio to clone. So again, this is a ding. Here we go. Oh, wait, wrong one. Because we cannot offer this to an audio region, that simply just doesn't work. And so this is a chink in the armor, if you will. So just to be clear about that, because we don't even get the option to do what they're saying. Now, of course, if we went to a software instrument track, then that would change. But I'm just saying we saw kind of something that wasn't true there. So let's just use a MIDI region then, and then let's double check our work here. So click here, hit L, and then we'll run through the same procedure. Edit, we'll go to convert. All right, here's the moment of truth. MIDI loops to aliases. You can see that holds true. And so then theoretically anything I do to this track should happen to these tracks. So if that's true, then we should not hear these during playback. Okay, so that didn't happen, but maybe it has to do with the MIDI events themselves. So what I'll do is I'll mute these actual MIDI events, and we should not hear the hi-hat roll. Okay, so that is true. But again, this is confusing. I don't know if it is for you, but I mean, like if I had just started and I would go through all these roadblocks, it would be like, wait, why does it say MIDI and I'm in audio? Why can I mute the region, but the MIDI events can be live and playing during these aliases? So there's a lot of kind of contingencies here that could be fairly confusing. But if you know what you're doing, if you're in the right community, you have the right people around you, then we can figure it out and we can develop a very strong workflow. All right, so that is good. We still didn't kind of solve the thing about audio loops being converted into clones. That kind of has still been up in the air during our time together here. So in other words, if I hold Option Shift and I create a clone, let me just move this over here per se. So this is a clone that references this. So if I create a fade, it should show up there, but it doesn't. And then I guess I'll do one more thing. If I go make sure that region is in key focus, repeat multiple times, and then again, I will select a clone. When I do 14, just to keep it simple, and then theoretically, based on the information that we have been reading, anything I do to this one, yeah, it doesn't happen here. So that's the confusing part. Now let me listen, because maybe I'm just, I need to listen to it. So we hear a clear fade. That's just not simply true, because if it was, we would hear a fade just like we're hearing on bar 21. Listen to this fade in rather. See how it's taking time to ramp up? Well, when I go to 25, it's rocking and rolling from the get-go. So that's the only thing that's been pending, which is this concept of clones and them not really translating when it comes to audio. So that'll to be continued. I'm sure there's something missing. Maybe there's a button we're supposed to hit or something. But again, just to go back to the manual, it says that if we use this loops to aliases, or use the convert loops to aliases command, that we then select loops here. For example, it says convert loops not to regions, so I don't have loops to aliases here, but I guess if we go up here, we do edit convert loops to aliases. But then when we go into the next section, edit convert loops to aliases, then it's like audio loops repeats are converted into cloned audio. Okay, well, if that's true, let me go ahead and do this, for example, and I go to edit convert down here, and I don't see audio loops to alias. And so anyway, you can see how that's confusing there. So I'm not going to cross it out because it's not entirely wrong, it's just unclear. And by my estimations, there's just more information that we're just not seeing, or something's been modified. So let's continue on here. This would be a really cool feature, though, and I would like to see it implemented. Create MIDI aliases, cloned audio regions. So hopefully we get to cover this a little bit later. But all right, let's talk about repeating regions. We know that we can copy C, copy V. We've gone over this so many times. Edit, repeat multiple, which is actually just what I showed you. So if I click on this specific blue region that we're looking at right now, and I go into edit, you have the ability to repeat this once over using Command R is the default. I like mine set up as Command D, and then multiple, and you can either create copies and aliases or clones. So again, right now it's kind of hard to see the argument for aliases, except if you're using MIDI. I'm not understanding exactly with audio what we're doing here, but I'm sure there's something there. It's just a matter of getting clear on it. So fantastic. What else we have? If you want to paste multiple copies, well, now again, using the repeat multiple, we can do 50 or 40 or what have you. And we know that we can use as copies or as aliases. It says here, when you repeat a looped region, the copies may overlap any existing loop repetitions of the region. All right. So that is pretty easy. Let's talk about resizing these regions. So you may think this is not valuable or this is super basic stuff, but I guarantee you do the work. You spend the 5-10 minutes acknowledging kind of, all of the various facets, and you'll come away with something. All right, let's go. You can shorten both audio and MIDI regions so that only part of the region plays. All right. You can lengthen MIDI regions to add silence at the beginning or end of the region. In addition, you can resize the common edge of two adjacent regions to control the transitions between them and remove overlaps. You have full control by hovering the pointer or the mouse tool over the bottom right or bottom left. We can also resize two adjacent regions. So this is pretty valuable. Let's say we come across a certain part, and I don't know, maybe you can resize them a little bit better. Well, here we have a tool where we can literally create a better edit in case there's an overlap. So in my case, I always go no overlap, but let's try overlap. Let's see what happens. See if I can, maybe what I'll do is I'll, literally create a fake overlap. So let me just move this over. Okay. So then now you can see that these are kind of over each other. And so what if I wanted to get in here a little bit more? That's just going to loop. That's going to fade. Okay, so that's not helping. So I see the tool here. And I understand that it resizes when I go to the left, but when I go to the right, nothing happens. So resizing. I don't know the difference between that and just hovering the bottom of any region. But let's read on a little further. Maybe we can get something here. So if you want to resize two adjacent regions, hover over, looks like the upper middle of the region. If there's a gap between the regions, the loop pointer appears when you move the pointer over the right corner. Drag left or right. Both should be resized accordingly with no gaps between them. I didn't find that to be true. Well, we're going to check this one more time. I'm going to select these two. There it is right there. I've moved to the right, nothing, moved to the left, and just this one. So again, not sure. Maybe I'll select snap to grid, but again, nothing's happening here. And again, this may be just because I usually have no overlap, which means that all of my tracks are perfectly cut. I don't like any overlap. Let's see, both regions are resized. So yeah, I didn't really understand the value here. This could be an older tool that was inherited from an earlier version. Not exactly sure what the application is here. And also, we're not getting a description, so that's part of it, right? If you have a user, you've developed your own habits over the last couple of years, weeks, months. All of a sudden, you're met with a new tool, a new proposition. Unless you're given clear direction to change the user habit, it's going to be really hard to implement it. All right, resize selected regions. Here we can hold Option and Shift while resizing the regions with the pointer tool. All right, let's check this out. So if I hold Option and Shift, all of a sudden we have the capability of stretching out this audio. Now, what's interesting, if I just hold Option, it says the word stretch, okay? So without holding anything, we see the words length change by clicking and holding the bottom right or bottom left of any region. As soon as, in fact, it's funny, you only see it on the right side, length change. And if you go to the left, you see left corner. All right, so then I hold Option and we see the word stretch. Okay, so what that's going to do, now bear in mind, snap to grid is set to bar. If I stretch this all the way out, I've in effect changed the playback of the part. Now you have to listen to this to really understand. So let me go ahead and bring out my bass. You know that the part sounds something like this. Okay, so now let's stretch this double time, right? 16 2 times over is 32. All right, so now I've in effect kind of, I'm playing this in halftime. So. All right, and Command Z. You can do the same thing and speed it up as well, right? So if we divide 16 by 2, here's 8. Now listen to how much faster this is. Now it's still in time, but it's just being played 2 times faster or 2 times slower, right? So that makes sense. Now let's go ahead and check out this other feature. If I hold Option, that's stretch, but if I hold Shift, it's equal length. So what do we get here exactly? Well, let's check it out. Dragging this. Okay, so what just happened there? Is it the same thing? Let me go ahead and play this at 8 bars because I'll know right away if it's the same exact thing. And I don't know if it is. So let's try it. Yeah, that's literally the exact same thing. Just want to see if there's anything else that's different. Let's go back to 32. All right, halftime. Halftime, boys. Here we go. Okay. So not hearing what the difference is, I would love to know if there's something there. So there's something about reselecting to the absolute length. That may be it right there. That actually may be it. So remember how I talked to you guys about relative? It may just naturally adjust to absolute. Again, I can't confirm that that's entirely true because it simply just doesn't state it. but there may be something there with an equal length. And the way I'll corroborate this is by trying to do this incorrectly. So we're going to try this out. Okay, let's kind of get out of the grid and let's see if it goes to bar 24, 23. No. All right, so I'm going to leave that one behind. Again, not wrong necessarily. I just don't have enough information. Resize selected region, start or endpoints to the playhead position. Okay, this is interesting. So there's a way to resize the region so that it adjusts to the playhead position. For audio regions, using the set region event marquee start playhead position moves the anchor point to the playhead position. Hold on. So resize the region start or endpoints to the playhead position. Use set region start to playhead. So this is some kind of key command. I'm just kind of thinking if it's worth doing it. Here, I'll give it a spin, and then we'll see if this really pans out for us. So the key command is called set region event marquee start to playhead. So that's a long name. Let's go ahead and start typing that in. Start region. Hold on. What was it? Event. Okay. What is that? Command. Okay, let's try this. And let me just make sure I even have this right, to be honest. Command. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then I wonder if this is the other one. Yes, obviously. Okay, so let's see what this does. So I'm here. Oh, cool. I don't know if it's worth it. Let me see if it does it with audio. If it does it with audio, it's certainly worth it. Nah. Okay, so it basically takes your MIDI region, and let's say you in effect wanted to create something at bar 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would hit comma and then left bracket there, and then it would just bring it all the way over to bar 1. Now, I have a feeling it has to do with the playhead and where it's located. As you can see, if I hit right bracket, it literally will crop everything. So, if, for example, the playhead was at bar, let's call it 50. Then if I hit that same key command, now it stretches that out. And so if I hit command left bracket, it's going to curtail all the information up to the MIDI event. And then if I do it, well, let's pretend there is no MIDI just for the sake of this conversation. Command left bracket. It seems like it's not cutting the rest of it like it did before. But anyway, it seems like that is the function there. So command left bracket opens up the MIDI. Command left, command right will cut it for some reason. So, all right. That is cool. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but there it is right there. Remove overlaps. This is nice. This is nice. Let me tell you why. You select the overlap region, select all regions of the track by clicking the track header. Then you go to trim overlaps. Where the selected regions overlap, the length of the left is reduced to remove the overlap. So edit, trim, remove overlaps. So for example, let me go back into our bass here, and we've really butchered this bass, huh? Let's pretend that some of these were really long. Okay. And then we go Command A, edit. Where was this? Remove overlaps. Hold on. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, trim, remove overlaps. So there's a couple of options. I don't know if we're going over all of them, but here's remove overlaps with adjacent. So if I hit that, you'll notice that everything now becomes, just clean. If I hit Command Z, again, these are just, they're stretched out too long, right? So that's not going to work. This really works with chords. If you really play chords out and you really want to tidy up a performance, Control click. Then you want to look for, I'm just wondering if it's in this menu. Here it is. Trim note to overlaps for the adjacent. There's a couple of other selections, but just for now, it's basically like the note that it's next to, essentially. And there are some other really cool key commands here that you should take the time to learn. Let's see what else we got in the tutorial in the user guide here. All right, so this one now goes into removing the overlaps. Wait, how are these different? Oh, the regions and then the length of notes, region or pair of overlapping regions. So here I'm just trying to figure out what they mean by all this. So let me just pretend that I have overlap and then that these are overlapping each other. Again, we'll go here. I'll go to edit. We'll go to trim and then let's see. Not crop outside locators. What was it called? Look, remove overlaps. Boom. So then now there's no overlapping regions. Again, I never go through this simply because I always have this on no overlap. This is called drag mode. We have gone over this on another video, so check that out. If you're liking the content, Eddie Gray reading the user guide and tutorial brought to you by hfmusicacademy.com. Consider subbing if you're enjoying the content. We really appreciate you. So for regions, it's not necessary if your drag mode is set to, I believe this is the default, but regardless, for MIDI events, this is gold. This is really going to help out on more than one occasion, trust me. So that's really cool. Lengthening regions to remove gaps. Looks like you can choose edit region end to next region. Okay, let's check this out. So let's pretend that you want to fill in the gaps. You don't want any spaces in your session. Go to edit, trim, region end to next. So I hope this is it. Let me see. Ah, there you go. I didn't even catch that key command. I usually don't do it this way, in all fairness. So let's see, trim. I gotta take some notes here. Shift backslash. I like that. I like it. Let me just hack it really quick. Got to get my reps in 2. Here we go. Boom. Wait, is that bad? No, this one. Boom. I like that. Yes. All right, cool. I will take it, Logic. Thank you very much for that. That's a nice one. That's sweet. Always looking, it's a game of inches. I always talk about it. All the clients I work with, all the people I help, it's a game of inches, right? You just get one thing and coordinate, lock it in, start using it. You'll maximize, you'll start performing much better, much more efficiently. And that's really the name of the game. You got to be efficient. And then, of course, you can be prolific and then you can be a master. All right, let's do one more and we'll shut it down. Lengthening selected regions between the locators. Okay, so we have the locator set, and then we're going to drag from left to right across the upper part of the ruler. That will then change the value in the LCD screen. Okay. Then we're going to select the regions within the locator boundaries, and we're going to choose edit fill within locators. All right, if I am catching this correctly, which obviously I'm just kind of going through it. This is not rehearsed. Just want to be 100% clear. The purpose of this is not to be a performance. It's to show you how to work and how to troubleshoot. That's all it is. World-class education, giving you all the ins and outs. All right, so then we go to trim and then fill within locators. Bear in mind, just the MIDI region in question is selected. We hit that, it increases the entire length of this specific region. Now, I wonder if that applies to MIDI. I have not tried it. Fill within locators. Let's just try it really quick. I don't see it happening, but we'll go here, edit. Notice I selected the MIDI events as opposed to the region itself. I mean, the region is selected, but I'm being more specific. And then, yeah, I don't see anything with fill within locator. So it looks like the language changes. If you don't mind, let me go back here. Let's go back to edit. Let's go back to trim, and you'll notice that the language changes, okay? Awesome. I actually do like that one a lot too. I don't use it enough, but I like the idea of hitting that that key command. It's pretty sweet. I'm going to highlight this. I'm telling you guys, when it's all said and done, I'm going to take a day or two, write down by hand all of these notes. I'll come out with a comprehensive list of notes from this entire experience. We're on page 343. We're about a third of the way through. It's incredible, just in a couple weeks. Super excited. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate the time that we get to spend together. The next time that we do this, my good friends, looks like we're going to talk about muting. Okay, we're going to talk about time stretching. Looks like we go into solo mode and solo lock, which is fantastic and will liberate you from any confusion with any kind of solo modes. Looks like we will directly go into time stretching algorithms, which is going to be awesome. All right, talk about splitting regions if you're looking for better editing techniques. And lastly, joining regions as well, along with creating MIDI aliases. And hopefully we'll get some more answers to all the unanswered questions that we've been covering. All right, my good friends, let me go ahead and create a bookmark. Thank you very much for your time. I'm signing off. Thank you. More thank yous. So just honestly, just honored to be here. That's really just what it is. It's just like, what a grand opportunity to be able to spend time with so many great people that are just really wanting to learn, increase their value, and just be more, right? Just so it really means a lot to me that you're here and that you're spending the time and that you're getting your repetitions in. So I'm going to get out of here. For those of you that are part of HF Music Academy, I will see you at tomorrow's meeting, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, signing off. Thank you very much. Let's go.